Sit back, relax, unless you're driving. It's time for That's a Freebie.
Welcome to That's a Freebie. It's good to not see you all. I still find that weird. How do you say that on a podcast? I don't know. I'm just going to have to go with great to be here with you all because you're all here right now. No, that's not how it works, is it? Anyway, let's move on. I'm going to open up with an Ask a Freebie question because I do that every week. You may have noticed this by now, and I say that every week. So, it's just how it works, right? This question this week is an anonymous question. And the question is, with the recent release of Wicked, I thought I would ask you what your favourite musical is. That is not Wicked. Okay, yeah, I feel like there was a comma missing there. I tried to put it in myself. Thank you for this question, but what makes you think I like musicals? I mean, I do. I absolutely love musicals. However, I don't remember mentioning musicals before. I must have at some point. My favourite musical is indeed Wicked, because it has a bit of sentimental value for me. It was one of the first things that me and my wife went to see on our first real getaway together. We went to London and we went to see Wicked. We stayed there for Valentine's. I was going to propose to her that weekend, but her whole family decided to say, "Oh, he's going to propose to you. That's why he's taking you there. Oh, it's Valentine's. He's going to propose." So just to spite them, I didn't, and I waited a month and did it again. Oh, that was fun. But yeah, the question was that he's not Wicked. I don't know if I have a favourite that's not Wicked. I kind of equally like most musicals. I do not like Grease. I suppose I could say that. I'm not a fan of Grease because I actually think it's a bit creepy, especially Grease 2. Now, I discussed this with a few people the other day, and the consensus is that Grease 2 just doesn't exist. Which, yeah, fair enough. I could get behind that. But even the first one, I'm not too sure if I like the overall messages that it's giving out. I don't know. Maybe I need to revisit it. It's been a long time since I watched it. But I think my favourite musical, other than Wicked, and I'm not including Disney here, because if I were, it would be Tangled, because, Tangled is the greatest Disney movie ever made. I will fight you on that. It's probably Hairspray. I really like that movie. I like the musical. I like the movie as well. John Travolta in that movie is absolutely amazing. So, yeah, I think my answer is Hairspray. If you would like to submit your own question, all you do is go to that'safreebie.com. It's straightforward. You can't miss it. I am starting to run a little bit low on questions as well, so now is a good time to send some in if you've been sitting on the fence about doing it. It's been a quiet week this week. I like quiet weeks from a, getting through the week standpoint, but I don't like quiet weeks from a podcasting standpoint because it gives me less to talk about. But it's fine, my job is to create content out of nothing. So here we go. This week, I accidentally threw my coffee cup away. Yeah, I know. Riveting stuff, right? No, we have 2 travel cups, Nespresso travel cups. I remember them being pretty pricey as well when we bought them. And we were trying to decide whether we should buy them or not. We both needed travel cups, blah, 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 nothing major there. But I was drinking my coffee out of it. I've started making my own coffee and taking it with me in the morning. I go through periods where I do this and periods where I like to buy it, but I'm just trying to save a little bit of money. It's that time of year. I want to spend more money on presents. So I'm trying to save some money. I had my coffee cup, I drank my coffee, and I automatically threw my cup in the bin. And it wasn't until I'd got on the tram and travelled all the way into town that I thought, oh, that wasn't a disposable cup, you lemon. So I'm on the lookout for a new disposable cup. Not disposable cup. I am really picky when it comes to stuff like that. So I want a cup that is not too big, roughly the size of a mug is fine. I want a cup that will not keep my drink warm, which I know sounds crazy, but at the same time doesn't let it go cold real quick. So I don't need like a thermos type thing. Like I have got a replacement one in the meantime, one that I've had for a while. The problem is it keeps it warm for way too long. I'm not very good with hot drinks, like drinking them warm. I have to let them cool quite a bit. And I'm okay with that. That's fine. But I also need it to stay warm enough so that basically I can make the drink, I can get in the car and drop the kids off at school, I can drive to the car park, I can get on the tram and I can get into town, and it's just about warm enough to drink at that point. And that's it. I don't need it to stay warm after that point. It'd be great if there was a button that I could press that's like, okay, now do not warm any further. I suppose you can get these connected mugs and whatnot, but I think it would still keep it warm for too long. I don't know. Yeah, let me know your ideas on that. I'm more than happy to let you guide me on that one. I would say money is no object, because money is no object for that kind of thing. If it's really expensive but it does the job, and I'm going to use it every day, I wouldn't mind spending the money on it. But at the same time, keep your suggestions reasonable, because I am not made of money. Nobody's actually made of money. I don't know if you realise that. That's actually a really bad saying. I don't think there's anybody that exists that is made of money. And if they are made from money, there's probably something seriously wrong with them. So as I mentioned in the pre-show, those of you that don't subscribe to That's a Freebie Plus missed it all this week. It was the best pre-show that has ever been. There was so much information in that pre-show that there are people probably listening to this podcast now that subscribe to That's a Freebie Plus that are so wowed by that information that they're speechless. Almost like I was then. Speechless. They might even have to go back and listen to the start of this again, because it was just so amazing. I am a little bit joking, but it was pretty good. Yeah, I like to think I gave you value for money this morning. 6 whole minutes I talked before the show started. Doesn't usually go on that long. But as I mentioned in said pre-show, the Christmas decorations are up. The tree is up. I thought I'd be clever. So we've plugged the tree into the smart plug that we usually have the lamp plugged into. And I can say, hey, personal assistant, turn on the lamp. And it will turn on the lamp. Or I can say the opposite, turn off the lamp. And it'll turn off the lamp. We love that. That is quite possibly the only smart thing we have in the house, other than the television. We can say the same thing to the TV. Well, not the same thing, because if we say turn on the lamp, the TV doesn't turn on. So we have to say turn on the TV. Yeah? I think you've got that right. So I thought I'd be clever. And I thought I would rename the plug the tree. So that I can say, hey, personal assistant, turn off the tree or turn on the tree. Yeah? Sounds simple, right? And I didn't tell anybody I was going to do this. I thought I'd be dead clever. And I'd surprise the kids. So I did it. I set it all up and I said, turn on the tree. And guess what it did? Oh, no, I didn't. I said, turn off the tree. And guess what it did? It turned my phone off. I've got absolutely no idea why. But whenever I set that plug to be called the tree and I say, turn off the tree, my phone shuts off. It doesn't give me any warning. It just turns it off. If you say, turn off my phone, it says, are you sure you want to turn off your phone? Right? But it doesn't, it's not even like it's a bug and it's crashing my phone. It actually says, okay, turning off your phone. I don't know why. My phone is not called Tree. My phone is called Diggy's iPhone. I don't know why it does it, but it does it. So I've had to go back to just calling the tree the lamp. So now our tree is our lamp. And guess what? It's not bright enough to be a lamp. So I don't know what to do. We've not even got the lamp plugged in at the minute anyway, so it doesn't make any difference whatsoever. But it's with the tree on it in the evening, it's too dark. So yeah, I really don't know what to do there. I suppose I just need to get more smart plugs and put all of the Christmas decorations on them and say, turn on Christmas. Oh, I like that idea. We'll see how that goes. I have an idea for a new show. And I've been thinking about this for quite a while now. Like it's in the very late planning stages. I haven't shared it with you because I wanted to make sure I liked the concept and I could stick with the concept. But I'm at the point now where I think I'm ready to maybe record a pilot for the show, and I will upload the pilot for the show to the That's a Freebie Plus feed for you all to listen to. For subscribers to listen to. But when I release the show, it won't be a That's a Freebie Plus exclusive. It's going to be completely different to this show, and it's going to have its own like feed and everything. I'm not even going to mention that it's affiliated with this or anything like that. But I wanted to run it by you first in case you had any feedback on it. Because one thing I have learned from making this podcast from the beginning is you often have an idea and it becomes something totally different very quickly. And you wish that those ideas you had were a little bit more solidified in your mind. Like, for example, and I've said this many times before, I think the first 25 episodes of this show, if I could go back and redo them, I would redo them in the same format that it's in now. But that's the whole point of growing and learning. I leave them up there because I like people to be able to hear how the show changed over time. It does. I don't know. I don't know what I'm trying to say there. I don't know what I'm trying to say. But I just like having them there still. So this new show, I haven't got a name for it yet, but I've got some ideas for it. But I'm going to talk you through the concept of it first. It's basically, I listen to a podcast called The Incomparable, which I've talked about on the show before. And in The Incomparable, they do episodes called draft episodes, and it's they're drafting their ideal whatever. So, for example, one of the things they did was they did their perfect childhood Saturday morning, where they would draft like the TV shows that they would like to watch. Each participant gets like 5 picks, but they go round and around. So you make a list of all of your picks, and then your person number 1 picks something. And if they've picked it, the next person can't pick it, right? Now, I wanted something similar to that because I love the idea of it, and it's a lot of fun. I like to, like, when they do a draft, I come up with my own in my head as I'm going along as well. And I'd love to do something like that. Now, obviously, being a solo podcaster, it's a bit hard to have those groups, and I don't want to be relying on being able to get guests to do it. Although this is a show that I would absolutely be open to getting guests to join, because I think it would be good to have 2 people, 2 or more people bantering off one another, coming up with the ideas. I really do like the idea of it. And I may make it more of a draft-based thing in the future when we do it. But to start off with, I'm gonna do it as it's almost like my perfect whatever. Like the first one I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do like my ideal Christmas day. This is how Christmas Day would go if it was to be perfect. Like, I'll detail the time we get up, the Christmas meal, all that kind of stuff. Doesn't necessarily have to be funny or anything like that. It's, the whole design of the show is to provoke a nostalgia feeling, I guess, or oh yeah, that's a good idea. And then, people can write in after the fact and say, oh, I would have done this, I would have done that. Try and spark a bit of conversation, I suppose. It's not reliant on that, but it's, as with most creative mediums, it's helpful and it's good. So I've got quite a few ideas. Like, one of them is the perfect Saturday morning as a kid. I've then got the perfect Saturday morning as an adult, the perfect Sunday as an adult, the perfect outdoors Sunday, all that kind of stuff. I've got quite a few. But what I'm essentially calling upon you for is to come up with a name for this podcast. Like, I ran it through the new ChatGPT chat feature, where you can have a conversation with it, which is brilliant, by the way. You should try it. It's really good for unlocking creative ideas. It came up with the suggestion for it was oh my god, I've already forgot. I had them in a list and I forgot what it was, but it was like moments of bliss or things like that. Now, I don't want it to be something like that. I'm thinking like it could just be something like ideal, or because it's like my ideal whatever it is, whatever the subject is that week. And it's not going to be a podcast that has a regular release schedule. I do not plan on saying this is weekly, this is 2 weekly, whatever it is. I'm actually considering maybe making it a seasonal podcast. So I do say 8 episodes a year. I don't know why 8. 8 is just stuck in my head as a number. 8 episodes a year, but they all have a theme. Like I was thinking I could do like a Marvel themed one, like my perfect superhero or my perfect supervillain or perfect superhero team, that kind of stuff. I was thinking, but I'm actually thinking that would be for further down the line, because that's something that I'd like to get guests involved in, because I think that'd be good to spar off, and then you could have the two teams spar off against one another. You could say who you think would win in that battle, that kind of stuff. But yeah, I just thought I'd throw it out there. I'd put it out into the world and see what you think. Having themes could be difficult, because, like seasonal themes, because there might not be 8 topics within a particular theme. So maybe the first series of it will be something that doesn't have a specific theme. I don't know. But it's not something that I want to do the whole year round. What I'd probably do is record a whole bunch of them within the space of a couple of weeks, and then I could just release them throughout the year when I feel like it. Like maybe even just release one a month, something like that. I don't know. Just a little experiment to see how it goes. It could turn into something else, could not. I don't know. But yeah, let us know what you think. The washing machine is really going for it right now. So if you can hear that, I'm sorry. I can't do anything about it. Otherwise, I'd just have to wait until it's way too late to record. I'm going to continue the Christmas theme on Pod Tales this week. We're going to take a look at Krampus. While Santa Claus is known for spreading joy and gifts, the Alps have their own dark twist on the holiday season. That's Krampus. This horned, half-goat, half-demon figure stalks the streets on December 5th, punishing naughty children with birch rods and scaring others into behaving. A perfect counterpart for St. Nicholas, Krampus makes sure Christmas isn't all about sugar plums and candy canes. Krampus is part of Central and Eastern Alpine folklore, appearing in countries like Austria, Germany, Hungary, Slovenia, and Croatia. His name comes from the German word Krampen, meaning claw, or the Bavarian Krampen, meaning rotten. They almost sounded like the same word, but there was no E. So Krampen is Krampen, and Krampen is Krampen. With his fangs, cloven hooves, long tongue, and chains, Krampus is meant to strike fear into the hearts of misbehaving children. Seriously, just search Krampus and look at the pictures. I can absolutely see why Krampus strikes fear into pretty much anybody. Traditionally, while St. Nicholas rewards the good kids with small gifts on December the 6th, Krampus handles the naughty list. He delivers coal, swats kids with birch rods, or, in darker tales, stuffs them into his sack to cart them off to a grim fate, sometimes drowning, eating, or even dragging them to hell. And by eating, I don't mean he sets up a nice meal for them. He eats them. Krampus's origins likely predate Christianity, with connections to pagan alpine winter rituals. Anthropologists suggest he evolved from creatures like the Perchten, wild pagan spirits associated with winter solstice. These devilish figures eventually blended with Christian customs as St. Nicholas's fearsome companion. In the 17th century, Krampus was firmly established in holiday traditions. St. Nicholas needed a helper to punish the naughty, a task deemed inappropriate for a saint. Over time, figures like Krampus, Smutzli, and Père Foutard became his enforcers, ensuring children towed the line. Krampusnacht, or Krampus Night, is celebrated on December 5th, the evening before St. Nicholas's feast day. In towns across the Alpine regions, Krampuslof, which is a Krampus run, bring this folklore to life. Young men dress as Krampus, wearing elaborate hand-carved masks, goatskins, and chains, parading through the streets to scare onlookers. These processions are rooted in ancient Perchtulaufen, pre-Christian parades featuring costumed figures. Over time, they evolved into Krampus runs we see today. In many places, spectators offer the Krampuses schnapps, which is a strong fruit brandy, to keep the mood festive. However, things occasionally get rowdy. In some years, injuries and altercations during the runs have made headlines. Krampus has had his ups and downs. After Austria's 1932 elections, the Dollfuss regime banned the tradition, fearing Krampus was too frightening for children. Pamphlets even labelled him an evil man. The ban was lifted in the mid-20th century, and by the 1990s, Krampus made a roaring comeback, becoming a symbol of Alpine heritage. Today, Krampus's image has softened slightly, particularly in tourist-friendly events where he's more mischievous than menacing. However, traditional villages still honour the fearsome original, complete with rattling chains and terrifying masks. The Krampus tradition varies across regions. In Austria, families display golden birch rods year-round as a reminder for children to behave. In smaller villages, Krampus sometimes appears without St. Nicholas, accompanied instead by other beastly figures, like the Shobmana. In Slovenia, Krampus is called Pekelj, and he accompanies Miklavs, which is St. Nicholas. Good children receive gifts, while naughty ones are left with a silver branch, which is a symbol of their bad deeds. In Croatia and Bosnia, Krampus carries chains and a cloth sack, leaving a golden branch for well-behaved children and taking back gifts if they've misbehaved. Is that golden branch like solid gold? Because I'd take that. That's okay. Krampus in pop culture. In recent years, Krampus has gained global fame, appearing in movies, TV shows, and even video games. His eerie yet festive image has also made its way into Christmas cards, known as Krampuskarten, which date back to the 19th century. Early postcards often depict Krampus menacing children or chasing women, while modern versions give him a more playful or even Cupid-like appearance. In the United States, Krampus festivals and parades are becoming more popular, with events in cities like Los Angeles and Dallas. These celebrations often put a humorous spin on the terrifying legend, blending the macabre with holiday cheer. Krampus is more than just a scary holiday figure. He's a fascinating blend of pagan and Christian traditions, a reminder that folklore often walks a line between fear and fun. Whether it's a symbol of ancient winter rituals or a cautionary tale of naughty children, Krampus adds a dark and intriguing edge to the festive season. So, if you hear chains rattling on December 5th, watch out. It might just be Krampus coming for you. This week's pick of the week is the podcast Upgrade. This is the one. If you need a technology podcast, this is the one to listen to. It's got humour. It's got a seasoned journalist and a up-and-coming, I wouldn't say journalist, I would probably say more up-and-coming podcaster. Although you could argue that, it's Mike Hurley, by the way, you could argue that he is not an up-and-coming podcaster, because he's been doing it for more than 10 years now. But he's, he has fresh takes that, some of the older journalists don't have, or older podcasters, well, however you want to describe them, I don't know. Seasoned is probably the way. And it's good. It's good to hear these two differing opinions. They're not always that differing. They often agree. It's really good. This time of year is a good year to start listening as well, because they do something called the Upgradies. The Upgradies is like a little awards thing that they do where they award different categories for different apps and, different pieces of technology and things like that. It's really good. The show has been going for 10 years now. I think it is just over 10 years that it's been going. Wonderful show, worth listening to. And as a reminder, you can go to that'safreebie.com where you can join That's a Freebie Plus, where you get quite a bit of extra content. The extra content is getting more and more plentiful lately as well. I did recently have a new member join who was a little bit confused because they thought the extra content was all in a separate feed, which I did do for a little while, but I found it quite hard to maintain the two separate feeds, especially the way Patreon works. It only lets you have one RSS feed, so it meant that everyone would always have to keep going to Patreon to listen, and I think that's asking too much of people to do. So what I do, the extra content is always at the end of the episode. I do the That's a Freebie Plus section at the end, and that is where any extra content goes. There might be instances where I might do like a special episode. I haven't done a special episode in a while, because I find I can spread most of the content out across the regular episodes and stick it at the end. It means you get more every week, because I was only doing one special episode a month and doing it that way. Now you get something every week, and some weeks it's just a little bit of an extra story. Some weeks it's something more. This week, for example, and for the coming next few weeks, I'm going to be doing some Christmas quizzes. So this week in That's a Freebie Plus, there is a Christmas quiz that I'm going to do that you can all join in on, because I'm asking you the questions. So yeah, join that because you'll have some fun. That's the point. That's a freebie.com. If you want to find me on social media, you want to reach out to me, again, go to that's a freebie.com. All of my contact information, well, not all of my contact information, my address isn't on there, or my phone number, but you can contact me on the social medias on there. Thank you very much for listening, and I will speak to you all next week.